Oh, hello. Welcome to my talk. My name is Joseph Mbele. I am a Tanzanian. I teach here at Central of College in Northfield, Minnesota, in the United States of America. I've been here in the English department since 1991. Before that, I taught at the University of Dar es Salaam in Tanzania from 1976. So this year is going to be my 50th year of teaching. My 50th year of teaching. That's a long, long time. I've always been very enthusiastic, very excited about teaching. I always wanted to be a teacher. Growing up in my village in southern Tanzania, and I achieved my dreams. I never wanted to do anything else apart from teaching. So I've taught about 50 years now. I'm thinking about retirement. But I will not abandon teaching as such. I will become full-time a cultural consultant. That's what I've been doing on the side while teaching in the classroom. I help Americans understand Africans. I help Africans understand Americans. Just helping people navigate cultural differences, those kinds of things. So I'm going to work full-time as a cultural consultant, helping institutions and companies and organizations, individuals. I've enjoyed doing this, and I think I'm ready to go into it as a full-time profession, if I may use that word. So today I want to come back to something that I've addressed before on this channel. I have a YouTube channel, and this is my desire to help African Americans who go to Africa. There have been many who go and settle in Africa. They depart from the USA, they leave the USA and make Africa their home. Or as some of them say, they are returning home. So my point has been, it's a very great idea to go back to Africa, but there are huge cultural differences. And I'm interested in helping these people so they can settle and thrive in the African culture. Otherwise, I know they face a lot of challenges, just as I faced challenges when I came to the United States. I came here from Tanzania, came to the University of Wisconsin, Madison, for graduate studies in 1980. I remember the challenges, observing Americans, interacting with Americans, and wondering why they did things the way they did those things, why they talked the way they talked, why they acted the way they acted. They feel the same way when they go to Africa. And so I have the experience of both sides enough to be an intermediary, a bridge builder, if you like, a mediator. So I've focused on African Americans, and they've actually created a cause to help them. I've talked about this cause before, but I thought it's not a bad idea to talk about it again. Besides, when we look at YouTube, there are thousands, maybe millions of videos there. They are popping up every day. If you look at my channel, my YouTube channel, you'll find there are dozens of videos. And the question is, who in the world sits down, spends a week or a month, watching all these videos? even in terms of just one channel, like my channel, who in the world decides to sit down and spend day after day after day watching those videos of mine? So if I made a video about, my cause, and I have made those videos, it gets lost. With time, it gets lost, in the mountain of videos that I make and that other people make. So faced with this blizzard of videos, what does one do to get their message across, to keep their message, visible in front of, people's eyes? So it makes sense for me to mention again that I have created a cause specifically for African Americans who are relocating to Africa, to help them in living there, in their relations with Africans, day-to-day relations, in business, if they're setting up a business, running a business, in all kinds of situations. If they are collaborating in enterprises, or if they find themselves sharing, a workplace, they work together in a company, in an organization. There are issues that crop up and they are inevitable and they can impede the relationships. They can harm, relationships. They can complicate relationships. And the reason I'm focusing on African Americans is that, as I've suggested, there are a population within the United States that's really showing this tendency, moving out, to other places. And in this case, I'm talking about Africa. There are many African Americans who are moving to Africa. And the other reason is simply I've gotten used to them. I have had great interactions with African Americans here in the United States. So, for example, there is an African American organization in the Twin Cities of St. Paul and Minneapolis, and I'm a part of that organization. They meet regularly to listen to, presentations. People make presentations about different subjects of interest to African Americans and Black people in general. And I have been privileged to give talks like that to that organization. I call it, it's popularly known as the No School. I will have a link below this video to the No School. So they enjoy listening to me talking about Africa, talking about African culture, talking about the folklore. And it's very touching when they tell me that what I say to them, what I share with them, enables them to understand and reconnect with their roots. Those testimonies are very compelling. Several African Americans have actually reviewed my work. I've published some books, 2 books in particular, on this topic of cultural differences. And so several African American, journalists, educators have read and reviewed them. The first one was this, Africans and Americans Embracing Cultural Differences. And the second one is this, Chickens in the Bus. It's a sequel, Chickens in the Bus, More Thoughts on Cultural Differences. So these African Americans, knowing what I'm talking about, they've written reviews and sharing, the information to others. I really appreciate that. I appreciate in particular the fact that these reviewers, these African American reviewers, have embraced what I say, as an African, being in America and saying things about Americans. They might not quite agree with some of the interpretations, but they have really graciously, let me, say what I say, and I really appreciate that. They really have been very gracious. I deeply appreciate this because sometimes I say things which might make African Americans uncomfortable, especially around issues of race. I confess in my books how we Africans are basically not really conscious of our being black, and especially back in Africa, we don't even think about it. It's a non-issue. And so we are not really prepared to deal with experiences in the United States the way African Americans deal with those experiences. And here I'm talking about racial issues, race-related experiences. The Africans are not equipped, to interpret their encounters in this country. And so that comes out, if you read my books, and as an African American, you might be disappointed that I'm not seeing those things that are so obvious to African Americans. And so I understand that we are different, and we just have to live with that. So I appreciate these African Americans who have reviewed my books, and I will have some links to those reviews. Another thing that has driven me to create the cause is I have interactions with African Americans who are already in Africa, in my country specifically, Tanzania. There are African Americans in the northern part of Tanzania, the city of Arusha. I've developed a relationship with them. I give talks, to them when I'm there about cultural differences, and I deeply respect and appreciate, their attentiveness and just their desire to hear me talk about issues with them. And they know that my intention is to help them navigate the challenges, the cultural challenges they are facing. So I'm really very touched and very connected, to those people. I've also other African Americans I correspond with who are on the continent, South Africa, for example, and Rwanda. So because of all these experiences and all these encounters, I decided to just create a cause to formalize the ideas that I have about what's important for them to be aware of as they head out to Africa, or as they live with Africans, or as they interact with Africans, especially, those African Americans who have settled there or who intend to settle there. And so there's a link, that's what I'm going to highlight below this video, a link to the cause. It's a very easy to follow cause, and there are testimonies by African Americans who have taken the cause, and it doesn't cost much. It's the equivalent of a dinner for two people. That's it. Just that, and the benefit, is absolutely immense, in the sense that it will save you frustrations, it will save you, confusion, it will save you a lot of emotional turmoil. Absolutely. Among the people who have written these testimonies are those who say they wish they had taken the cause earlier. They wish like there's this, woman, who just talked about my book, just the book. an African American woman, just this one book, after living in Tanzania for about 10 years, she wishes she had read this book before. It would have saved her from frustrations and things like that. So I do want to make these testimonies available to you, and to let you know that I do have this resource over here, and you don't have to suffer. Now, I know very well messages on Facebook, messages on YouTube, messages online, like this. People will look at them, people will listen to my talk, they will comment maybe, they will argue, there's a lot of conversation, but it's not that everybody is going to be interested. And I don't mean, that everybody is suddenly going to go and get this cause. No, I'm talking about those few individuals who, listening to me, will see the need to try this thing out. And I know it works. And the testimonies are there. People who have taken the trouble, who have taken the decision to explore this cause, to take the cause. It works for them. And so I know the majority of the people are just going to look at this, going to watch this video and go on with their life. And probably they will put on, likes. That's what happens. Again, this video is not for everybody. I know that. But I thought I should send out the information anyway. There will be someone out there, 2 people, 3 people, who really, really would like to learn about the culture, and they would like to connect, with the people in Africa, and they would like to just make life a bit easier for them, make their interactions a bit easier, very much easier, as other people have found out who have taken this course. So welcome to the course. You can scroll down to the bottom of this video. You will see the link. That's it for today, and I wish you all the best. Bye.